Welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, hosted by Funk Roberts, former professional athlete, certified MMA conditioning coach, and master of metabolic training. Funk is one of the leading conditioning coaches in the martial arts industry today and has a following of over 500,000 combat athletes around the world. His workouts and training principles have been used by many professional fighters, including fighters in the UFC, Bellator, and ONE FC, as well as World Muay Thai champions, Glory kickboxers, and ADCC BJJ champions. Join me in welcoming your host, Funk Roberts.
We are live, people. Welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast with your host, Funk Roberts, episode number 16, with my co-host, Andy T. What's going on, Andy T?
Hey, how's it going? Doing very, very well.
I'm good too, man. You're good? You're doing well? You feeling good?
Feel good, feel great, eating well, happy. I'm
happy.
good.
It's been a long day for us, huh?
Yeah, long day.
We've been literally almost 12 hours.
Pretty much Monday through Saturdays, long days.
The grinds, huh?
Especially now,
Yeah.
with everything going on, we're trying to do as much shit as possible in as little
time as
possible, as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, like today's August 22nd, and literally Andy and I were just talking about like our year's over.
Yeah.
Like literally the year's done because we'll get into this a little bit in a second, but you know, we've got a project that we're about to launch at the end of next month. Mm-hmm. Then we go to Thailand, then we go to Australia. In between, before that, I'm in New Orleans. You're probably cornering somebody in a different province.
Yep.
I'm going to Edmonton, Alberta for UFC 215.
I'm probably going to go to Vietnam after we go to Australia.
And then after Australia, I'm coming back to do UFC in Winnipeg.
So the year's over?
The year's over, then it's Christmas.
The plans, it's nice to have, it's nice to know exactly what we're doing in the next 4 months there. Yeah. Instead of just kind of going through life.
Yeah, but the other part about that is we know what we're doing and we know how much work we need to do, and it's like, it's a grind, man. It's going to be a freaking grind.
I feel like I stress out way more than you do.
Yeah, I'm just used to the grind. I mean, you are too, but I'm used to this kind of grind, like knowing the launch is coming up and all this shit. You're just getting used to this.
New to me.
Yeah.
New to me.
It is stressful, but it's good to have someone doing this with me. Mm-hmm. Usually I'm doing all this shit by myself, so it's kind of like, okay, I got, like when I say by myself, I mean like, you know, coordinating it all by myself. Right. I do have a team that helps, but it's good to have someone to share the grind with, man, and the fruits. Yeah, like there's going to be a lot of fruits. Speaking of fruits, we got a new project, buddy.
What?
We launched a supplement company.
Oh, right. I guess it's new to the world.
It is pretty much. We're starting to talk a lot about it now, but about 8 months ago, Andy and I decided we're going to start a supplement company. So,
actually, that's not how the story went.
Okay.
The story was we were driving in my car going to shoot some workouts, and you decided we were going to start a supplement company, and I kind of just said, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And 8 months later, we have a supplement company, and we're about ready to launch our first line of supplements. We're going to have a long line, but, you know, we just got to start off small. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the main supplements is a protein powder, Lean Pro 30, which is our brand new 100% New Zealand whey protein with a probiotic.
Yep, and it's naturally sweetened with stevia, and there's no added sugar or any of that bullshit.
Lactose-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, no junk, no fillers, pure beast. And the probiotic that we put in there, which is BC30, you guys can look it up right now. It utilizes your protein, leucine specifically, the amino acid, 23% more. So the absorption is going to be faster. The absorption is going to be more effective.
Especially with the probiotic. With the
probiotics.
And it's a fast digesting protein to begin with.
That's right.
And it's a 93.33 protein ratio
per serving,
which is really high level. Usually you'll find 80s pretty normal.
Yeah.
So we're at 93.33.
Yeah, there's no blends, not concentrates.
No concentrate.
Like this is clean as shit. Like one of the things that for me, protein, I haven't taken a protein powder in fucking I don't even know, man, steadily years, because it's been all shit. Like all the stuff that I'm taking is horrible. It upsets my stomach. I'll bloat. I'm not getting the results I'm looking for. And so it was really important for us, and the fact that you have a supplement background, it was really important for us to make sure that we put together a clean, effective, powerful supplement, like protein.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we also added MCT oil powder, which I'm on right now.
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, man, this is freaking amazing. It's a fat burner. That's what we're using. Well, I mean, it's more than a fat burner, but energy, brain health, like brain function, clarity.
The big thing for me is definitely the brain clarity shit, because like when I have to, whether it's training or sitting down and like just doing a project, getting hopped up on the MCT oil a little bit definitely just like helps me zero in. So
pre-workout too. Like I was talking to someone about pre-workouts the other day. Like, hey man, it was another fitness person, and we were just kind of talking about pre-workouts and how the number one pre-workout by far is caffeine. Like all those pre-workout supplements are fucking shit. That's what we were even talking about. You know, when we first started a supplement company, we're looking down to things that, what do we want to create? Pre-workout was definitely not one of the things we want to create.
Yeah, at least not the traditional ones. Not the ones that make you all tingly and itchy and shit, that has all these fucked up ingredients in it. Or that ephedrine, Advil combination shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you put some MCT oil powder into caffeine, and man, you're going to have a fucking awesome workout. And you're going to burn fat at the same time and have energy.
Yep, and then the third one we just released was omega-3. So
yeah,
heart, hair, joint, skin health, and just something that a lot of people don't get naturally through their diet. So it's definitely very important to supplement with that.
Omega-3 is one of the most underrated but important supplements to have, just because of we don't get enough of it, unless you live on the coast or live in a country where, the Mediterranean or somewhere where you have, access to a lot of fish or a lot of, fish oil, or you use it a lot in your cooking or what have you. But
definitely a staple.
It's definitely a staple for anybody. So yeah, we're really excited. End of September is going to be the launch. We're going to have some VIP codes ready for you guys. We're not there yet. We're almost there. We're just a few things, but we're excited. And so that's going to be sort of our focus, ending off the year and moving forward. And we're going to make sure that we bring the best quality supplements. We're not just, bringing shit for the sake of shit. Like we're not in this to, yes, we want to obviously have a bit of an income, but we're in this to actually, the fact that I was promoting other supplements before, and I just hated the supplements I was promoting. So it's like, why would I be promoting supplements when people ask me what supplements I use? They want me to have supplements, and I want to bring, if I'm going to do this, we're going to do this high quality, awesome supplements that I would use, that my wife, who, she's the most, she's a stickler when it comes to anything. So ones that my wife would use, stuff that you would use, stuff that athletes would use.
The great thing about it is it's not like a supplement company is approaching you and asking you to start a supplement company. We're able to actually do the research, and based on past product use and research and things like that, develop our own supplement line with the lab and build up and formulate all these supplements, versus just taking somebody's supplement, putting your face on it and pushing it out to people and not really believing in the supplements.
Exactly.
Whereas we get to design it from the bottom up.
Right. So. And we have help. We got our lab guys that help us out, so that we're not just, we do our research. Andy's got background, but we also need to make sure that we're putting the right things. And, so we got a good lab. We got great partners. This is going to be good. You guys are going to, your 2018 and beyond are going to be phenomenal for everyone who uses our Revamp Nutrition Lab supplements. So go to Revamp Nutrition Labs on Instagram and Facebook and start liking it and get on it. And we'll be launching that soon. So, but today's podcast, if you are just kind of jumping on and didn't really read the title, we're going to talk about a few things, but the major thing is cardio and how to improve your cardio. That's what we're really going to talk about today, because it's one thing that I'm focusing on right now, and how to improve your cardio quickly. I've been in these phases many times in my life on how to improve cardio as a professional athlete, as just someone who's training for fights, as someone who just, wants to train better and be more efficient.
Training people
as well. Yes. Fighters, of course. So we're going to talk about that. And Andy's going to, chime in on some of the things that he, uses and just his expertise as a fighter on the ways that you can improve your cardio. And we're talking cardio, we're talking endurance, cardiovascular. You don't want to your gas tank, man. Your gas tank.
Go harder, longer.
Exactly.
Go harder for longer.
Yeah. But before that, of course, make sure that you guys go to FunkMMA.com, download our 6 free programs. We've got sprint programs, which we're going to talk about. So this would be a perfect time to go to FunkMMA.com and download our 6 free programs. If you haven't, and you better do it now. Abs, sprint training,
overtraining guide.
We've got a 5x5 workout. Good stuff. And then go to nutrition4fighters.com.
Yep, and you can also pick 3 free ebooks that we put together. So we got Funk's Power 30 Foods, a recipe book for cheat meals, healthy cheat meal alternatives, and a 1-day budget example plan that I kind of put together. So just go to nutrition4fighters.com, type in your email, and you'll get hooked up.
And they're free. Make sure you also go to the Apple Store right now, if you can. Grab your phone if you're not already listening to it. Hold on. I just had some of that MCT with green juice. And download the Funk MMA podcast app on the Apple Store. And also download the Funk Roberts Fitness app on the Apple Store as well. Going to be on Android soon. And you know what? When you're listening to this, it may already be on the Android as you're listening. So Funk Roberts Fitness app. It's all follow along workouts. You can work out with me. It's amazing. But yeah.
And if you don't know about our Monday weekly video on YouTube, visit Funk Roberts on YouTube. Every Monday we throw
workouts,
a sick workout together.
Yeah, man. New workouts. Always new workouts. So that's the world, man. You're living in the Funk Roberts fitness world. You're living in the world of being the best you can be. That's what we're about. But today we're going to talk about cardio, conditioning, right?
Yes.
The best ways to freaking improve your cardio.
So so let's go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you trying to improve your cardio? Because people don't just try to improve their cardio. Well, I guess they do, but I know you, and I know that you always set goals and with a purpose. So yeah, what do you?
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I know where you were going with that. You were about to say people don't just improve cardio for the sake of improving cardio.
Right.
Like people, there's a reason why they've got to run a fucking marathon or they play like pickup, shinny hockey or basketball, whatever. So for me, first we're going to Thailand in a month, under 2 months. We're going to Thailand for a retreat. We have a Funk Roberts Fitness retreat. So 10 people are coming to Thailand from all over the world to hang out with me, Andy, Angela. We're going to train every day, twice a day. But before the retreat starts, we are going about 2 weeks before the retreat starts and training like beasts. And that's one of the things that when I go away to Thailand, I like to make sure that I'm in shape when I go to Thailand because I don't want to waste time getting in shape while I'm there. You're being trained by the best Muay Thai fighters and now like MMA, coaches and trainers and jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So when you go to Thailand, you don't want to be spending the first week and a half getting into shape when you're only going to be there for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 weeks even. You want to show up in shape so that you can learn everything. So that's one reason. But the second reason, the most important reason is as I'm training to improve my overall conditioning and Muay Thai technique, I've been sparring a lot lately and like literally 3 times a week almost sometimes. And, that's something that I never really did too much of before. Before my fight, I obviously was sparring literally 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week. But Muay Thai sparring is a little bit different because it's tech sparring. But this now I'm going to different places in sparring. So I'm a bigger guy to a lot of the people in the Muay Thai community. So when I go and spar here in Toronto, not when I go to Thailand, because when I go to Thailand, they always put me with the fucking 250-pound beasts who are just ripped. I'm a little bit bigger, and there's a target on my back. Like bottom line, it's like, oh, here's Funk. Okay, well, I'm gonna spar with him, and we're gonna go we're not going to do technical sparring. We're going to actually go a little bit harder. We're going to throw kicks harder. So I don't mind that. In fact, I like a little bit more power behind. Like if you're going to kick me. Don't just throw up a lazy little kick. You know, there's a time for technical sparring, but I would rather, if I'm going to spar, like sparring class or whatever, where you're going 15 rounds of sparring with different people, then we're sparring. So anyways, you know, the good thing about going to these sparring sessions is you can rest when you want to, like in between sessions, so you don't have to spar every single round. But at one of the places, Atlanta MMA, big shout out to Atlanta MMA, which was used to be Atlanta Muay Thai, where I trained for my first fight. Anyways, I've been training with those guys there, and there's one of the fighters that is one of their main fighters who will also be in Thailand when we're there. And we have a really intense sparring session when we spar, so it's almost fight simulation style. So his conditioning is insane. He's smaller than I am, but he's known for he can continuously put output, like punches, kicks, combos continuously for 3 minutes, no problem. Like that's his claim to, that's what he can do. Me, on the other hand, I can do that for a little bit, but I'm more power. Like I've got more power behind my kicks and my punches, so that's how I have to stave him off. But specifically this past weekend, I went 2 minutes hard, you know, back and forth, and then literally it's just like I hit the wall. It's like literally it felt like I ran into a wall and I had to like back up and literally put my hands on my shorts or like on my knees and just like, hold on, put my hands up. This is like in the sparring session. So it wasn't even in between, it was during. I'm like, hold on. And then he kind of backed up and, you know, just like I just ran around to play out the round. But that's what I mean. I'd already sparred 4 rounds prior to that, but the whole point was I want to be able to spar 4 rounds prior to that, go into a round like that, and go 3 minutes. So the only way I can do that is I've got to work on my cardio and conditioning outside. I've got to do things I know that will improve my cardio and conditioning fast, because I'm leaving in like 8 weeks, and I don't need to have like insane sparring 3 minutes all out type cardio to hit pads in Thailand. But I want to have that. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'm not satisfied with just, oh yeah, you know, I'm just gonna get around with, you know, yeah, I don't have to go too hard. No. I always try to push myself to be better and much better, not just, oh yeah, okay, my cardio's a little bit better, I'm okay. No, man. Like that just woke me up to say, okay, I've got to get better. I got to get way better at my cardio now, even though it may still be good. It's just, it was the 5th time I sparred, and it happened to be a fucking incredibly hard sparring session. But for me, I don't care. I don't use that as an excuse. My excuse is I should have been able to go 3 rounds. Speaking
of improving your cardio and sparring, my coach, Mauricio, thinks that he doesn't think this outright, but one of his philosophy is like, cardio is sparring is one of the best ways to build your cardio. Like Saturdays, we'll spar an hour straight after class, 1 hour, 10-minute rounds, and then you just switch. There's maybe 5 or 6 of us, small control group. But technical, intense sparring, like you do everything hard, you just don't punch the guy or kick the guy hard.
Right.
But everything's fast, everything's speed, you're always on your feet, and we'll go 10-minute rounds. Like there's no set time where the clock goes beep beep beep. It's when Mauricio says, okay, switch. So it could be 10 minutes, it could be 12 minutes, you just never know. So we end up, you know, like last Saturday I sparred like 6 10-minute rounds in a row, and like you just get through the whole thing. So yeah, I think that it's really good that you're going out and sparring, you know, 3 times a week, because the best way to get better at something is to physically be in it. Like, I mean, obviously supplement your training, but like being there. And if you're gassing out in sparring, do the cardio training outside, and then also spar a lot as well.
Continue to spar, yeah.
Because a lot of it is getting comfortable with sparring, because you got to think about your breathing patterns.
Totally.
You got to know when to explode. You know, if you go into a sparring session, you know how many rounds you're doing. You plan out in your head which ones you're going to go a bit more intense, which ones you're going to pull back a bit. And yeah, so at Evelo South Thai, we spar a lot.
Yeah, definitely. You guys spar a ton. That's why I like to go in there actually Saturdays. When you're saying sparring, are you doing MMA, full MMA sparring, or just like a stand-up?
Muay Thai, we pretty much spar. If it's jiu-jitsu, we're rolling after.
Right.
If it's Muay Thai, there's usually tech sparring after. And
But the 10-minute sparring, what was that? Was that MMA?
that was just so after that was Muay Thai. So
Yeah.
after class,
Yeah.
we just split up half the gym. Jiu-jitsu starts on one side, and then select group of guys, we just spar for a stupid amount of time
Yeah, I think
in a safe manner.
yeah. I definitely sparring is a great one of the best ways to, like, okay, we're talking how to improve your cardio for a
MMA.
fighter, yes.
Martial arts,
For fighters, for
whether-
martial
yeah,
arts,
exactly.
yeah. We're not talking about like general, although some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, it can generally get your cardio better, but we're talking strictly for sport. So even if it's another sport than martial arts, but this podcast is about strength and conditioning for fighters, so that's what we're talking about. But yeah, sparring definitely, you'll get better 100%. The more you roll, the more you spar technical sparring, the more you hard spar sometimes, the more you intense spar, and you hit the nail on the head when you said like the breathing patterns, the intensity. Like for me in that sparring session and a lot of different sparring, because I go to I go to 3 different places to spar, so I'm looking at 3 different types of people, and not every place I go to it's Muay Thai fighters, it's like Taekwondo fighters and MMA guys, so they're totally different than the Muay Thai stand up in front and just trade kicks, which I love to do, trade punches, which I love to do. So and so everyone is trying to they're trying to win the sparring session as opposed to having like let's have a nice good technical sparring session. There's some people that I can have that with, where we're going to go tit for tat. We're going to try to interrupt, kicks or punches. And then there's guys who are fucking running around the whole gym so that you won't get them. And then they come in and they get you. And it's like, this is like a waste of fucking time. Like let's go in the ring and I can get you into the corner or get you on the ropes and then kick the shit out of you. But that's not why. I'm not there to beat the shit out of people. I'm there to get better myself and work on things, including conditioning.
That's why technical sparring is very important, because you have to be in the situation over and over and over and over and over again before you get comfortable with it. That's why when there's no parameters or boundaries and somebody can just run across the gym and run back,
This is what happens.
Don't really know, like nobody really does that at our gym, but it kind of negates the whole purpose. Like,
Totally.
Of course, disengage, circle, reset, all that stuff. But like, if you're going like I'm gonna run all the way and then run back and throw a kick and then run all the way back, then
that's what happens with this one guy. And this one guy head kicked this guy and knocked him out. And he was actually, this is another gym, not Lano. This is another gym that I train at, Southside. And I'm not sure if this is a Southside fighter, but he's definitely not Muay Thai is not his background. I think it's Taekwondo. And he goes very hard. He goes very, very hard. And I'm not sure if that's with me or people he doesn't know, but which is fine. I'll go hard too. I don't care. But he is that one guy who like will just wait, and then throw his Taekwondo fucking hard leg kicks, and then you chase him around the gym. Like literally, you're chasing him around the gym. Whereas the second time we sparred that same night, and he was head kicking like full range fucking power. And so the second time I sparred with him, I just didn't even do anything. I just kind of just played defense and it was a waste of time for me to go forward and run after him. Like, I'm not going to sit here and run after you, buddy. Like, you're going to we're going to do some technical sparring, we're going to go back and forth and definitely disengage, or I'm just going to sit here and you can just kick shit at me. I don't care.
That's why I don't really like sparring outside. Like, I like to have a group, my team that I spar with, because when the one person that comes into the gym and thinks they're really tough and hard, they get the full rotation of guys, and then they don't think they're so hard by the end of it. So that's kind of what happened at the last Southside. It was like, okay, Funk's here, let's put him through the rotation. But I just continued to not beat up on, but we had some good sparring with everybody. It's kind of like, holy shit, I almost knocked out a guy who doesn't like to get hit. And Angela was like, holy fuck, man, you are 100% better than you were last time I saw you sparring. How did that happen? I'm like, this is a different mindset. I may not look pretty on pads, or when I spar, but I can sit in front of you and throw a technique. But sorry, the one thing I want to talk about was when you were talking about breathing patterns. I threw away from this, but that was one of the things. Like when someone's in there,
like you can prepare yourself outside of the gym doing some of the things we're going to talk about in regards to sparring. But you can't prepare yourself for the adrenaline dump that's going to happen. Even before sparring, sometimes if you're in a new place, your heart rate goes up when you're about to, okay, I'm about to spar this guy. Oh, shit, okay, what, you know. And then the intensity, you know, you don't know the intensity. So sometimes you may go a little bit harder than you're supposed to, or that person's overwhelming you. Your conditioning and cardio, your cardiovascular, so your anaerobic system, it starts to increase. And you know, unless you've trained outside of the gym for that, but you still can't. The only way you can train for that is by sparring, right? Because then I've been in this situation before. I know how to control my breathing. I know how to control, even if that person's coming at me, I know how to stay calm and block and move a bit to the side.
Yeah, I got a lot of, like when I spar or grapple or MMA, most of the guys at the gym really have really good breathing patterns because our coach Mauricio, again, gonna credit him for everything. Yeah, obviously,
Mauricio's amazing. He's amazing.
He does a shitload of yoga. He does probably yoga 5 times a week at 9 a.m. before he comes to teach classes. And even when he hits the pads, when he demonstrates, when he does anything, you hear all of his breathing patterns. You hear when he exhales, when he inhales, like the sharpness of it, like on combinations. He uses it as rhythm. He uses it so he doesn't get winded if he gets hit by a body shot. And if you're sparring with him, if you're sparring with him and you guys are exchanging, you'll hear every time like his he breathes out.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah.
And so, I mean, we all kind of adopted that, and it just makes it easier not to be tense. The more tense you are, the less efficient you are. The less efficient you are, the more energy you spend. The more energy you spend, the more tired you get.
Is that why you do that every time you?
Yeah, I breathe.
That's how you breathe when you're punching.
Breathing. Well, I mix it up a lot. It's like,
oh no, when you're, I see when you're shadow box, you're always.
Oh yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because whether you got to do it when you're shadow boxing.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I consciously do it. It's just something I do now.
Yeah. Well, it's just because it's been kind of ingrained.
Yeah, so
and you've been doing it for so much.
It definitely helps. Obviously, when you have really good cardio, it helps double time, especially if the other guy's tense. Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah. So, the first way to improve your cardio really is just continually roll, spar. And we're not talking hard sparring. We're not talking old shoot box style sparring where you're fucking trying to knock the person out. But you do need to spar a lot.
High volume, high intensity, low power.
Yes.
And then jiu-jitsu you can do a bit harder. The thing is that, I mean, it's one of the aspects, and we're talking about all the aspects of improving your cardio. It's one of them, and it's a great one, but it doesn't cover all your bases because jiu-jitsu, you're able to grab and hold. Striking, when you get tired, you can move away.
Right.
So you don't actually get to build that threshold as much. For instance, on pads, if you're doing a shitload of kicks, you're building a threshold, or a sprint, or any cardio exercise. You get to push past a certain point. Yeah. In martial arts, if you want, you can take a break. Right.
Exactly. So if improving your cardio is one of the things you want to do, then one of the things that I would suggest is definitely roll or you know, even if you don't have a sparring class, you can say, okay, grab 1 or 2 guys and say, okay, let's spar for the next 30 minutes and let's do some control sparring. And then maybe one of the rounds you go, okay, let's do just a little more intense, where one person's throwing a ton of combos consistently and the other person's trying to, like, you know, play defense or trying to counter. You know, you can play around with the way you spar, but you can make it a session that's like, okay, let's do this control sparring session, or rolling for an hour or a half hour, 45 minutes, you know, 2-3 times a week.
Mm-hmm. And one more good tip is, this is something we do a lot too, is if you're sparring, if you're in one of those like sparring after class type of things, and one of the guys, say you hit somebody with the body shot, or somebody's just getting way too tired and they want to stop, you don't let them stop. You just make sure they hold their hands up and breathe, and you just move your feet with them, and you don't actually hit them anymore, or you like hit them very lightly. But the idea is like, regain your breath. You got to breathe. Like,
just the person who got hit.
Yeah, the person that got hit, or the person that's gassing out. It's not going to help you if sometimes it's necessary, but like, you can't just stop and be like, no. Like, the other guy should encourage the person, no, stand up, hands up, just breathe on the spot, move on the feet. Sometimes you don't have somebody to do that, but that's what we do at the gym. So if you rock somebody with a body shot, and the guy wants to stop, you go, no, hands up, and then you just move with them. That's it.
That's funny you said that, because that's what happened. So when I was done, hit the wall, I kind of put my hands on my shorts for a second, and they were like, we got to continue. And so the rest of the round, it was just me trying to recover and move around. And he came in and, he didn't go, we weren't going 100% anymore. It was just like, he knew that I was done. And so like, I was just kind of moving around and kind of, just trying to, that, and that 1 minute was the fucking longest 1 minute ever. When you're tired, man, I'm telling you, when you're tired, the 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever you are in is going to feel like 20 minutes. Yep. It's like, you're going to be like staring at that clock. Man, I just looked over there and it was like 40 minutes. Why is it only 30 seconds or 40 seconds? Why is it only 30 seconds? And then it's going to feel like 2 minutes and like, oh my God, it's still 20 seconds.
Right. I have one more tip. Sorry.
Yeah.
And just kind of going off of that, where like the guy let you move and recover and breathe and stuff. On the opposite end, if you're the person that's not gassing out and you're seeing somebody gas out, I'll use an example like a Shark Tank wall wrestling. So if there's one guy against the wall and there's 5 guys and each guy goes a minute wrestling against the guy on the wall, the third and fourth and the fifth guy do enough so the guy has to work, but don't kick his ass. Like, you already know he's tired. Just make him keep working, keep working, and build that guy's cardio, especially if he's your teammate. So
yeah, and that's funny. I'm going to build on that. That's exactly what we're doing next time. So every Saturday now when I go to Atlanta, I'll be sparring with this guy. We're going to have a couple of sessions where we go hard like that. And I'm sure, because my cardio and conditioning is not at the point, I'm sure that at 2 minutes, or maybe this week it'll be 2 minutes 15 seconds and 2 minutes 30 seconds, I'm going to get to a point where I gas. I told him, you need to come and finish. Like, not finish hard, but finish. So like you said, make me work. You're still going to make me work. Don't just let me walk off. You keep the pressure on, because also for him, he needs to understand that when I have someone hurt, I need to finish. I can't back off, because if you start practicing that, it does. You may not think, but it does. It's like, if you're practicing always when someone gets gassed out, you're backing up. You're not gonna have that. You're not gonna have that mentality. Not saying you have to fucking knock him out. I'm just saying go in and bop, kick, bop, and then like it's gonna be finished. Maybe get him down to one knee or something, and then you know what I mean.
In a safe and controlled manner.
In a safe and controlled manner.
If you know the guy's tired. Yeah. It's not doing anybody a favor letting somebody off the hook completely. Totally. Obviously, be safe. Yeah. You're not saying knock anybody out, but like, be a little bit realistic about it.
For sure. So, how many times to spar? I would say 3 to 4 times, maybe even 5 times. I mean, it all depends. It's the intensity of the sparring, right? So, you can roll every day. Right, you do.
Unless you're really sore.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you could. Like I'm saying, you could.
You could,
yes. Like Muay Thai sparring, you could do technical sparring every day.
Yeah,
you could easily do technical sparring every day. But like to go hard sparring, where you're gonna try to work on more cardio conditioning style, maybe 2-3 times a week, maybe 2 times a week.
Maybe that.
Yeah, maybe 2 times a week instead of, because if you're going hard-ish. If it's MMA or some type of striking sport, well, boxing they spar maybe 3-4 times a week, maybe even 5 times a week, and they go hard. Boxing sparring is a totally different type of sparring. It's not technical sparring. It's not going to knock you the fuck out sparring.
I only like knock you the fuck out sparring when it's like fight camp at certain weeks. Otherwise, it's just, like I said, high intensity, high output, low power for the most part. Just like try to hit each other a lot frequently and have a good output, but don't give each other brain damage. And same thing applies in MMA. If you get somebody on the ground, you're always trying to pass, always trying to punch, always trying to pass. And but hard sparring, man.
I wouldn't, maybe
once a week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hard, yeah.
I don't do it very often now.
I would, if you could get a group, like if you say, okay, maybe I've got 2 or 3 guys I know that we can get some good sparring in where we can be technical, but we can push ourselves. That would be ideal.
Yeah, I have like 5 or 6 of those. Yeah, so it's like perfect. We just come in a group and then everybody knows the deal, and we just go through the rounds. Yeah. Everybody's dead tired at the end, but nobody's hurt.
Totally. That's your most ideal thing. So if you can start creating that type of a camaraderie and environment within your gym where you take 2 or 3 guys and like after every training session, okay, let's roll for an hour or a half hour. Let's 3 rounds of sparring. Let's go technical. Let's work on kicks this time. Let's work on continuously kicking each other. That's your best bet. Or if it's MMA, takedown defense or whatever it is. Sparring, number 1. Number 2, you were alluding to this pad work. Let's talk about pad work because you talked about that. Another way to improve your cardio is pads. If you have a pad holder that can put you through the ringer for rounds. So that's another thing. I've been going for pad work, Atlanta before sparring, and then also, whenever I can. And, that's the cool thing about the crew is that I will never be able to get through the pads because he will see where I'm at and he'll continue to push me a little bit more. But yeah, pad work, burnout drills. If you can get a good pad holder who can take you through 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of pads, working on specific things, kicks, punches, combos.
In my opinion, pad work is the best way to develop, and even drills. MMA and jiu-jitsu as well. If you do it at a high intensity, jiu-jitsu not as much. Like there's a time jiu-jitsu warm-up drills. Sorry, not jiu-jitsu technique specific drilling, but jiu-jitsu warm-up drills where it's just like pass one side, pass the other side, come back to the middle, pass one side, pass to the other side, and then pad work because it's the closest thing besides sparring, and it's the safest thing, and you can just push that threshold that we talked about earlier that you can't push in sparring, that you can't push as easily in sparring, because there's dead space in sparring where you can move away. Whereas pad work, if the guy's pushing you, then
there is no dead space.
There's no dead space. So the guy's hitting you, you got to move. If rallying off combos. Yeah. So pad work is, and it's fun. Yeah,
it can be fun if you're not dying through it. But yeah, it is fun. I mean, it definitely is fun. I love pad work in Thailand. It's nothing better than having any of those trainers hold pads for you and just push you through. And I know with Bird sometimes when I first got there that first time, I think we did like a 10-minute round. That one time when I think you were videotaping me, I can't remember, but in the ring it was crazy. It was a long round, and you just kept coming. But not only does pad work obviously help with technique, but I'm not talking about the pad work where you're working on technique. It's like, okay, I'm going to throw out combos and call out combos, and you're going to continuously hit the combos.
I'm talking about both.
You're talking about both?
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about cardio. So,
right.
Yeah. But you're talking about both.
I think the difference is...
Because when I do technique stuff, there's no cardio involved. I could go 20 minutes because you're stopping you and you're holding. But if you want to improve your cardio conditioning, then continuous, throwing out combos.
It depends, I think it depends. So there's a couple things, like the Muay Thai style, like the Thai style, and this is not a style that I was brought up in, is very like, okay, you get a pad holder, he's going to hold pads for you, he's your pad holder. Whereas, Mauricio styles, training at Evolus South Thai, you have to be a trainer too. So it's both guys.
Same at Muay Thai. If you go to any Muay Thai gym, everyone's holding pads.
Right. So with that being said, like the technique on the actual pads, once you get it down, which takes maybe like 5-6 minutes before you're, well, at least for me, like fluidity, just get the fluidity down, and then you just go hard reps. And then when you start losing the technique, you slow it down again, We'll go like 20-30 minute rounds before we switch versus like 3-minute round, 3-minute round, 3-minute round. We're just going 20 minutes, start it off nice and easy. Once you get the technique, start going hard. And then if you need to adjust the technique, then you slow it down again.
I think we're talking two different things. We're talking technique because your style is shoot box style, or that your style of training is different. So I've
done both.
Yeah. So you guys kind of do one technique, learn it, and then drill that same technique. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I go to hit pads with Crew Nick, it's okay, throw your hips a little bit more, and then, here's a couple of combos, and then, okay, stop. Okay, now you'd probably be moving this way, so it's a little bit slower. That's what I consider technique.
Right.
Where you consider technique what you're saying. So I think we're talking the same. We're using the same word in two different ways.
We do both. We do both the things. Yeah. It's just like, that's a more slow paced. I think that once you get the technique down.
Yes.
Your coach has to see you do it fast once you have it down.
Oh, totally.
Just to
100%.
see if you have it. So it's just like a different wavelength of technique choice. Two different things.
Yeah.
Just two different things.
Yeah. So But your technique's good for cardio for sure, because I have
Right,
seen
right.
that.
I see. And I've done both, and that hard Thai style is great for cardio, not as great for technique. So like finding that middle ground is great. But sometimes it feels great. Just rip off fucking 100 kicks per side and hard 1-2s and just like, you know, standard hard Muay Thai combos.
Yeah, for sure.
It's time and place for both.
Yeah, definitely. And then again, if you're a boxer, you know, hitting the mitts,
Hitting the bag.
in the bag, yeah. So that's another one where I would put as cardio for sure. I have heavy bag conditioning workouts, which are amazing for cardio conditioning, because that's where you're focusing mostly on your cardio conditioning and not on throwing technique. You may hit for power, but continuous power depending on what, you know, combo you're throwing. We do combo builds where, you know, first round you're hitting just, you know, jab, second round, jab cross, third round, jab cross hook, but it's continuous for that whole round. And then you can throw exercises within. So, you know, you're doing for the 30 seconds, you're doing, you know, 1-2s for, and then the next 30 seconds, you're doing burpees. And the next 30 seconds, you're doing hook, hook, hook. And the next 30 seconds, you're doing something else. So again, you're using the bag as a conditioning tool. You're able to still work on technique, but the focus is not technique. The focus is the conditioning part of it to help build that conditioning. So, you know, maybe you can only last, you know, 2 or 3 rounds doing that the first time. And then you just keep building so that you're going through and being able to do that, you know, 5, 6, 7, 10 rounds of whatever it is. And you may, if you're a Muay Thai fighter or an MMA fighter, you may do kicks one round, you may do punching, you may mix it up with exercises, but the heavy bag's perfect because you don't need anything but you in the heavy bag and some gloves. You know what I mean? And you can just go there and get a good conditioning and cardio base done.
Is that the one where you do the bag for rounds, and then as soon as you're done, you do an exercise?
You can
that
do
one is like that. I remember that one.
Yes.
Where I'd hit the bag 3 minutes, just whatever.
Oh,
whatever the combination is, it doesn't. It's less about the combination. It's just about the
output,
reps because you're not training for technique.
No.
So
not at this point.
Not at this time.
Right.
Point in time. So it doesn't even matter. So, I mean, try to have good technique.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure. Yes.
3 minutes on, and then I do like a
kettlebell.
I don't know if it was reps or if it was for time, but like burpees, and then back on the bag, different combination. 3 minutes on and then off, then another exercise, then 3 minutes on, then another. There's a video on YouTube actually.
Yeah, heavy bag workouts, and so you can do it that way. You can do 30-second intervals of an exercise, so 30-second drill of 1-2s, and then when it beeps, you can do push-ups, and then when it beeps, you go back and do kicks, or you can just do 1-2s, and then when it beeps, you do hooks, and then when it beeps, you do something else. So there's so many different ways you can stack.
Heavy bag
conditioning
protocols and timing.
But that's something you could do 3-4 times a week, man. You could use them as finishers. You know, have a heavy bag finisher program where they're actual finishers. So 10 minutes finishers after your regular session, whether it's an MMA session, a Muay Thai session, whatever session. Then at the end, you can still say, "Hey, man, I still got some gas in the tank." Or I need to work on my cardio conditioning, even though I'm a little fatigued. Let's go on the bag and finish off with a heavy bag finisher.
Or what we do a lot is ladder kicks. So with an exercise in between. I do this a lot when I teach. I haven't taught in a little bit because Mauricio's been back, but we're at the end of a class, or it doesn't even have to be at the end of the class. At the end of whatever you're doing.
What is it?
You do one body kick per side, and then you pick an exercise. So usually I tell them they have an option between burpees or push-ups. They do one burpee. 2 kicks aside, 2 burpees. 3 kicks aside, 3 burpees. You ladder up to 10. I've made them do up to 15 at one point. But I think by 10, if you do up to 10, I think it's like 110 kicks and 55 burpees or something like that.
Yeah.
So like it's like a 10-minute workout.
And the power kicks.
Yeah, power kicks or rally kicks, depending on what you want to work on. But
right.
Yeah, just another good killer drill, ladder drill with exercise in between.
I love it. I love that drill, man. That's good. Yeah.
So I think now that we passed all the ways you can improve your cardio with martial arts training, because you are doing martial arts, and the best way to get to a good level is to be able to do the martial art for as long as you can.
Totally.
But stepping outside of martial arts, what can people do to supplement their cardio.
So for me, there are two major things that I will be doing over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. They suck, but number one, it does suck sometimes. One is sprint training. So once or twice a week, no more than 2 times a week with a 48-hour window in between. You're doing sprint training. So when I say sprint training, you're doing a couple of warm-ups, and then you're going to run either 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, maybe 100 yards, maybe hills, maybe stairs, but you're going to run as fast as you can. So there's different styles of sprints, but if you go to FunkMMA.com right now, as you're listening to this, or make sure you go and download my 6 free programs. One of the programs is a sprint training program. I'm telling you right now, if you want to improve your cardio, plus your power, explosiveness, plus your speed, plus burn fat while you hold on to your muscle, sprinting is the way to go. Just look at sprinters. But you're going to do a warm-up. You're going to do warm-up sprint sets, and then you're going to do 10 rounds of sprints where you sprint as fast as you can, whatever the distance is, and then you walk back. And during that walk back, you make sure that you recover. The whole point is recovering. So sprints works 2 things. It works your anaerobic, but it also works your aerobic, because what you're doing is you're trying to recover on the way back. So once you get back to the starting line, right away you sprint again as fast as you can. Now, where that recovery is going to come into play is between rounds, where when you're sitting on the chair between rounds, your aerobic system comes in, where you need that oxygen. When you're fighting, usually in an MMA fight or a Muay Thai fight, it's your anaerobic system where your body doesn't use oxygen. So you're using both of them in a complete fight. So you need to train them both. But I don't like going on long runs. Long runs, that's archaic. And in fact, I'm doing long runs right now, but I'm doing that more for a mental thing than anything. But and I'm not doing that to help me with my cardio. That's just to go on long runs. But your aerobic system is perfect. So as you're walking back, you're focusing on breathing, and breathing deep through your nose, out through your mouth, or if you know diaphragmatical breathing, then you're doing that. And by the time you get back, you want to be completely recovered, but you may not be completely recovered, because it will all depend on where you're at in your sprinting. If you're on day 1, man, you're probably going to be dying by the time you get back, and you still got to go and sprint. If you've been doing this for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, then you may get to the 8th interval where now it starts to hurt. But the whole thing is you do 10 intervals. So sprinting is cool because it doesn't take long. It takes 15 minutes, you're done. And your body, it's such a high intensity, intense work for your body. It doesn't feel like it as you're doing it. I mean, your heart, you're going to feel it, but you don't feel it till the next day when your hamstrings are fucking killing you and your legs are killing you. Like, what the hell happened? I didn't feel like that yesterday. But you will feel, especially if you don't do it often. If it's your first time going out to sprint, no matter if you've been running a long time, sprinting is a whole different animal.
Yeah, me and Alex were talking about it the other day. Alex, one of my training partners, and
Alex Sosa. What up, Alex Sosa?
We used to run this hill in Vaughan here, and it's a big fucking hill. And the difference between when we were running it and not running it is like night and day.
Totally.
So we're going back to running that hill, but like by the end of it, this is like a really, really steep hill too. We do 10 reps and recover on the way back. I always remember the halfway mark. Like halfway down the hill is when I was like not breathing hard, fully ready. Okay, as soon as I hit the bottom here, I'm turning around and fucking running as hard as I can. Now, the explosiveness going up was a lot less at each rep, but every single time I got to halfway down the hill, I knew in my mind that when I hit the bottom, I could turn around and sprint up the hill as hard as I can. But the hardest sprint workout I ever did was I was training for a fight in the stairs here near your house. Dude. 10 reps, I think. So
run up the stairs, sprint across the bridge. Run down the bridge, or walk down the stairs. No. Turn back around, run up the stairs. So the recovery was only coming down one stair. So then run back up, run across the bridge, walk down the stairs. That was one. Then you do 10 times. 10 times. And I felt good doing it. Yeah. Because I was sprinting a lot too. That was, Yeah, that was huge. Those days of those sprints on Saturdays, we used to go and sprint. We would do either hill sprints by Evolution, that hill that didn't seem that it was too steep, but fuck, man.
Oh, that was just like you and me, and sometimes Charlotte.
And Mike and the whole crew. Even Angela did it, and Yin did it too.
Oh
man.
yeah, she did.
Yin
Oh,
on the other
shit.
side.
Yeah, she did.
Shout out to Yin in the house.
Yeah, the girls on by the pizza, and the guys on the other side. Yeah,
and or then there'd be weekends where we would just do the flat,
the
straightaway, stairs.
The stairs.
But yeah, that was my bet. That's why I always know that if I need cardio, then I'm doing sprints, because your cardio was insane. You were doing fucking burpees after your fight.
Yeah.
In the ring. I know that our cardio and conditioning when we went to Thailand was unbelievable. Like, I remember the first day I got off. Usually it takes 2 or 3 days when you get off the plane, going 32 hours or whatever. I remember that first day we got off the plane, we went and hit pads, and I felt fucking incredible. Like, I honestly felt, because my cardio was already there.
That hill, now that you remind me, was absolutely. So the hill, okay, so it's this big hill, and it's like on a public road. It's on Dufferin Street, if anybody lives in Toronto. And we would start at the bottom before it turned into a hill, so we'd sprint up a hill. But halfway there was a break for a light, so we would sprint as hard as we could to the light, and then we would take a 10-15 seconds recovery if the light wasn't
green. If the light wasn't green.
If the light was green, we keep going. But then the second half of it was just like not even a sprint. It was just a disgusting grind of like,
and that's all it was
make it to the top.
Yeah, it was a grind. It was tough. It
terrible
was so
workout.
Yeah, it was horrible. But I mean, sprinting is, again, it's one of those things you can do anywhere, anytime. Especially, if you live in a place right now where it's winter, then you just go on the treadmill and sprint. I know that I trained James McSweeney. If you guys don't know, former UFC fighter, fighting in KSW, and he's gonna head off fighting in KSW. I trained him for online for one of his fights. By the way, James McSweeney is one of the hardest working beasts there is, man. Like, I loved training him more than anything, because he was one of those guys who just got it, and would push themselves to the fucking past the limit, and incredible. Anyway, so because I don't remember why he would do sprints outside, but he would also do the sprints on the treadmill too. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to do them outside, although it is best to do them outside, because sprinting on a treadmill and sprinting on actual asphalt or grass or upstairs or in a hill are totally different. Your body, you're using more of your body, more of your muscles to actually push off the road than on a treadmill that's actually rolling. And you can use any type of treadmill. So you don't need to say, oh, can I use this one of those treadmills where I actually, run and make the treadmill go? Yes, you can use whatever you want. The whole point is it's the sprint intervals that you got to focus on. 10 sprinting intervals as fast as you can, as pushing yourself. If you're going to go on a treadmill, put it on a 15 incline, the highest incline, and do like 6 miles per hour, and do that. Jump on for 30 seconds, jump off for 30 seconds, jump on for 30, off for 30 if you're using treadmill. If you're going outside, you can do 30 yards, you can do 40 yards, you can do 50, but after 10 or 11 or 12, then shut her down, man. There's no need to, you're going to feel it the next day. And if you feel like that was too easy, then the next time you do it, you just sprint further. So, okay, the first time wasn't bad. Now I'm just going to sprint to 50 yards, or now I'm going to sprint 80 yards, or whatever it is.
The funny thing about sprint workouts is I've never seen somebody do a sprint workout and be like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
If you didn't do it, then you didn't sprint.
Not intense enough. You didn't sprint, man. You didn't fucking sprint. Like, you should be dying. Like, period.
So sprints, you said not long runs.
No, not long runs. So if you're trying to improve your cardio, do not go on long runs. You're going on long runs for the sake of going on long runs.
Especially if you're a grappler.
Now, if you're a grappler, I don't mind like jiu-jitsu guys going for a long run once in a while, because the energy system is different in jiu-jitsu. It's more aerobic, because you're rolling for longer. It's not as high intensity. It's a lot of isometric stuff. It's a lot of, you know what I mean? So the longer runs will actually be better for you guys, going on longer runs. I know jiu-jitsu guys probably don't even run, but long runs would be more effective for you than doing sprints. You could throw sprints in for sure. You want to be more explosive. You want to be, you want to have that high, if you're a more explosive grappler. for sure. But I would actually go on. That's the only time. That's one of the only sports where I would actually go on long runs more, because you're training your aerobic system, which is more in play when you're doing jiu-jitsu or grappling. Not wrestling. Wrestling, the sprints is where you need to go, because it's always you're scrambling, always scrambling. But jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of
sometimes.
But
then it's also like wrestling in the sense that like you would want to sprint, because it's like jiu-jitsu is like when you see the opening, you just explode real quick.
Yeah,
and then it's on to the next thing, transition.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but there is definitely that. Depends on the style.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen 30-minute jiu-jitsu where
right.
they're charges one guard for, you know what I mean, like waiting out. That's more the aerobic system coming in. But yeah, definitely. Everyone should sprint. And again, just the fat loss whilst keeping on muscle. Whereas when you're going on long runs, you're actually increasing your cortisol levels. So a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to start, training. I'm going to go on long runs, and I still can't get rid of this belly. Why? Well, because you're just going on long runs, which after 20, 30, 40 minutes of just steady state jog, or you're not sprinting, you're just going on a steady state jog, your cortisol levels are going to increase, and your cortisol levels are what holds on to your fat. So when you increase your cortisol level, your fat around visceral fat around the stomach, that's where it's a fat hormone, so that's where you're going to keep that fat. So you want to burn that off. So high intensity training, sprint training.
I never suggest running. The only time I suggest running for somebody is if they actually enjoy running and that's like their sport that they do. Yeah. But like when somebody goes and wants like workout advice and they want to do long runs, I'm always like, I would stay away.
Now sometimes if someone's here's one time I'm doing long runs right now, so I'm doing 3Ks and 4Ks and 7Ks, but that's totally for a different reason. My body actually, if I start running, my body actually responds good to it. Like I burn fat, but I also do other training too that is on top of that, the high intensity metabolic training and sprint training too. So that's a combination. But if someone was to say to me, hey man, I want to just get back into shape, and they're a little bit bigger, I tell them right away, go run, start running, just go on a run, because you telling them to go do a workout with push-ups and sit-ups, and like they need to start burning. So go on a walk, go on a run, just get that consistency. And then once you start to feel better and get better and start to feel a little bit, you're starting to lose a little bit of weight, then hit the gym and do something. But you can just get up and run. Like there's nothing that holds you back. The only thing holding you back is your brain, your mind. But if you have been on the couch forever, it's like, you know what, just get some running shoes and just go for a run, man. Go for a 2K, do a 3K. Just start running, and that will get you into the exercise, as opposed to, because when you tell them to go to the gym or tell them to do something, that just gives them an out. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know what I mean? We've talked about this before, all the fucking excuses, right? For a run, it's like, just get shoes and run.
Right.
Like,
so
or walk fast.
The only time you recommend it is like if the person is like, too many excuses, too much bullshit, too much barriers, and you just look them straight in the face and go for a run, then what's holding you back now?
Yeah, go for a run.
You have a body, you can walk outside, and then just get right into it.
Or if they haven't worked out for a long time, it's just about getting the habit.
Right. Because saying like go to the gym, even saying go to the gym and get on the bike is another layer that you add. By saying go to the gym.
Totally, it's a layer. So if you just say, just
go run right now.
Go run. Just go grab some. I don't have shoes. Well, fuck. Let's go buy shoes.
Yep. Or run in the grass.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right.
So sprinting. So martial arts training.
Yeah.
Various ways of martial arts training.
Heavy bag training.
Yeah. Pad training, sparring, rolling sprints.
Yeah.
And
okay, this one's the biggest one. This one is 100%. Within 3 weeks, if not before, your cardio will go through the roof if you implement this 4 times a week. 3 times. I'm going to even take another layer off and only say 3 times. Burpee finishers, 10-minute burpee finishers, or even 4-minute burpee finishers. So if you're going to do 4-minute burpee finishers, then it's 4 times. If you're going to do 10-minute burpee finishers, then 3 times. If you're going to do 4-minute burpee finishers, then it's 5 times. If you're going to do 10-minute burpee finishers, because 4 minutes, you can do this anytime. So basically, I have a burpee finisher program were 250 burpee variations. But I'm going to take that layer off and say, if you just did burpees, you don't even have to go to the ground. You just did 4-minute burpee finishers. So 4-minute burpee finishers means Tabata, 8 rounds, 20 seconds of burpees, as fast as you can, 10-second rest. 20 seconds burpees, as fast as you can, 10-second rest. You take a timer, a Gym Boss timer. You don't have a Gym Boss timer? Then guess what you do? You grab your phone or your smartphone and you download the Gym Boss timer app or a timer app and you set it up for 20 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds rest. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds rest, 8 rounds. Bang. You go as fast as you can. You should try to get like 10 to 13 as fast as you can. Rest for 10 seconds. Do it again. Rest for 10 seconds. Do it again. 8 rounds. That's 4 minutes. That's it. You do that at the end of your training sessions, no matter what training session you do. You finish off and you do that 4 times a week. So after any training session, if you go to the gym and fucking lift weights, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, if you're doing Muay Thai, if you're running, you end off your training sessions with a 4-minute Tabata burpees. I guarantee you in 3 weeks, I challenge anybody to tell me that in 3 weeks, doing it 4 times a week, just a 4-minute. We're not even gonna touch the 10-minute burpee finisher. I'm just gonna throw the 4-minute in. That's it, the 4-minuter. Burpee Tabata, very simple, 1 exercise. In 3 weeks, if your cardio is not better, you come back to me. I guarantee you your cardio will be better. 100%. You'll see better cardio lasting in your training, in your rolling. Guaranteed.
Don't get it twisted though, because it's fucking tough as shit. Because I've seen so many people break. I've broken from it. You've broken from it.
110%.
I don't remember when this was, but one time
Thailand.
No. One time we did it at Evolucel, and you had that fucking Gym Boss timer thing in your mouth. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Not the Gym Boss.
Oh,
timer.
I had the
Boss Rutan
yeah.
breathing thing in your mouth. That was another time I remember it. All the times I've seen people almost quit at the end of classes doing it in Thailand. Yeah,
remember what's his name? I won't say his name. Yeah. Well, Jason Radcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cage
Warriors.
Great Cage Warriors fighter. It's so funny because he said that he watched it on my Instagram when he was in the UK, and he was like, "Look at these!" And I was taking a whole bunch of Muay Thai MMA fighters.
905 was that 905
Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ.
Yeah.
And you know, some people are dying, some people are getting through it, whatever, right? And he said he was looking at it, I was like, look at these pussies. Like, what the fuck?
It was so funny how he said it too.
He's like, these fucking burpees.
I can fucking do burpees.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, buddy. He was coming here. He was in Thailand. I was there. So we put him through a 4-minute burpee, and he died. He died after 2 minutes.
He died.
He would die.
In his defense, he was doing a workout before that, but it is a 4-minute workout.
Yeah, but at the end of it, I mean, and he got through it. That was tough. We had to push him through it, but at the end, he's like, that was fucking one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
4 minutes. That's it. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, the first 2 weeks are going to be hell. No, the first week and a half. The first 6, I want you to, in your head, I want you to understand the first 6 are going to be tough as shit. Just say, okay, this is it. I'm just going to try to get it. And every time you go, you either want to last longer, like without like having to like bonk, or get more reps in per interval. So like after a while, you're going to be able to do all 8. Like all 8, you're going to be able to get through without stopping, like unless other than the 10-second. But your goal is to, like, if you could do 10, now you're trying to get 11 every round. Or 12 every round, or 13. I got up to like 13 or 14 a round. And you add a jump at the top too. So it's not just, you don't go into a push-up. You just go back fast and up fast. Because it's about getting reps, but you jump up, and then as soon as you land, you're back into the burpee. That in itself, man, that is the number, for me, that's the number one cardio builder. It's no one does it. But every time someone does do it, like everyone who's purchased my burpee finisher program and has used it for fight preparation has been like, this is like, it's a different level. Like, especially when you do the 10-minute burpee finishers where it's 5 exercises. You do in each exercise for 45 seconds of work followed by 15 seconds rest for 2 straight rounds.
Yeah, that one sucks.
It's not, and it's different styles of burpees. So, you know, you may do burpee kick throughs. You may do burpee with the, T-raise. There's so many different ones that you may do dumbbell burpees,
side to side burpees.
Yeah, like there's so many jumping burpees.
Tuck
you may do
burpees.
tuck jump burpees,
right.
Knee slap burpees. So it's like that's when you start implementing those and getting through them, and you're like, okay, my cardio's there. Like my cardio's pretty much. I'm happy with where my cardio's are right now. Obviously, there's going to be other factors that you're going to take in when you're sparring and when you're doing other things. But once you can get through that, you'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm happy with this. I'm okay with my condition. Well, actually, there's one more thing that's gonna, what I say, ring ready, when you know you're ring ready. But burpee finishers, man, like, and we're just gonna say Tabata burpees. That's it. Like, don't even worry about the burpee finishers where it's like 5 exercises. Just focus on Tabata burpees. I have a lot of burpee workouts on my YouTube station, so you can go to my YouTube station. I'll put the burpee finisher link to the program for those of you who dare. But really, truly, and simple, you can just do the Tabata burpees. And 8 rounds. Yeah.
There's one video on YouTube called The Toughest Workout. I think that's what it's called on your channel.
Yeah, toughest workout ever.
Yeah, and
right.
It's just like
a plethora of burpees.
Brutal full body burpee workout.
And people are like, oh, fuck yeah, when am I going to use that? Well, you're going to use that to fucking test yourself. You're going to use that to improve your cardio conditioning. You're going to use that as a high performance athlete. You're going to use that if you're sports martial arts, because that is a high performance style. You can't fuck around with martial arts. People are trying to kick you. People are trying to kill you. People are trying to take your arm off. People are trying to choke you the fuck out. You can't. There's no room for mediocrity. Even if you're just training in general, like even if you're just training, don't you want to love what you're training and be the best you can? So in order to do that, you have to be in the best conditioning, the best shape, the best strength. That's why you do strength training. I mean, well, you're going to compete. That's different. But even still, like if you love something so much, you want to get better at it. So you need to do everything on the outside. We've talked about this: nutrition, recovery, strength and conditioning, cardio, so that you can continue to grow with the sport and grow with your passion, you know?
Yeah. Does that cover all of it?
One more.
I
know that we're going over.
I know this one.
What is it?
I think I know this one. Is it metabolic training?
Yeah. Body weight, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go body weight.
Yes.
Yeah. 10 exercise circuits, 60 seconds of work followed by 15 seconds rest, one after the other for all 10 exercises. Then you rest for a minute and you go through 3 rounds. If you can get through that whole workout without breaking. So if it's push-ups, it's 60 seconds of push-ups. It's very hard to do, but you know you're ready when you can do each exercise without stopping for all 3 rounds. You know, body weight only though, because when you start adding resistance, you can go a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's like strength and other things.
Strength, endurance, yeah. But when you do body weight, you can always go for speed. You can always try to go as fast. It's as fast as many reps as you possibly can during those 60 seconds.
Breathing.
And the 10 exercises are different exercises. So I mean, again, you can go on look for metabolic workouts on YouTube. But each exercise, you know, you'll do like you'll do a burpee, then a ab, and then a upper push exercise, and then a lunge exercise, and then a cardio, and then a squat, and then
rinse and repeat, full body workout.
But you're doing 60 seconds of work followed by 15 seconds rest, so you're recovering during those 15 seconds. But the key is doing as many reps as you possibly can during that time. It ends up being a 41-minute workout, so it's a long workout because you're doing 3 rounds. Each round's like, I don't even know what that 41 divided by 3 with the break in between. But the key is if you can get through one of those, and not many people can without stopping, without having to go fuck. It's tough. But when you're at the point where you can get through all 3 rounds without breaking and going as fast as you can, which each one not stopping, you're there, man.
Except for the first round, you start a bit slower.
Yeah, first round you start a bit slower, and the first round is usually the harder one because you even if you had a warm up, your heart rate's just like pounding. It's like, and it's the first time you're doing these exercises. But the second round's usually your best round, you feel, and then third round,
it's a grind.
It's a grind.
That's the one that counts, though.
Yeah, that's the mental grind, physical grind. Yeah, man, those are my cardio killers. I think those, for me, that's it. Like if I was to work on someone's cardio specifically, those are the things I would do. I would implement outside. I would implement sprints. I would implement burpee finishers. I would implement body weight workouts. I would even put them on the heavy bag and do some heavy bag stuff. That's what I would do. 100%.
And feed them some carbs before all these training sessions.
And after, too, so you
Yeah.
can recover faster.
Yeah, maybe not so much the sprint one. I mean,
Carbs
still
after.
do it, but yeah, carbs after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, that covers it, man.
How do you get your lung capacity up?
Yeah.
And fucking not have to bitch out during sparring or a workout.
Without having, like, to go to some type of institute to put the, you know, VO2 max shit
Right.
into play. I mean, yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I think, maybe in the membership site, by the way, my Funk Roberts Fitness University, there is a how to assess your cardio PDF in there. Because there are ways that you can assess your cardio, because, you know, right now we're just giving you how to improve your cardio, but you've got to be able to, there's ways that you can assess your cardio, ways you can assess, you know, like taking your heart rate in the morning, and, you know, just in general,
Science, yeah.
in general, how you're feeling when you're doing other things like, performance base. How you're doing with workouts. There's different ways. There's different ways to assess your cardio condition. Your cardio.
I think the last thing is give these people your breathing tip that you always tell people in
Right.
class how they should breathe in the 15 seconds or during the rest period.
Very good. Thank you. Unless you know diaphragmatical breathing, then what I'm about to tell you is not for you, because if you do know diaphragmatical breathing, then you probably already know the tricks that you do to recover quickly. Those fast, you know, from the diaphragm.
Like Hicks and Gracie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Gracie family are the kings of recovering between using diaphragmatical breathing, but not many people know how to do that. So I go to the old school style of breathing where it's deep through your nose. So basically what I say is pretend you have a rose in your hand and you want to smell that rose. You want to just take as much as you can, and then you hold it for a second and then breathe out. And you do that 3 or 4 times. Now, when you do a sprint, especially with sprints, this is when it really hurts. After you finish that sprint and you're walking back and you need to catch your breath, it doesn't happen right away where you catch your breath. You got to do it like 4 times. And after the 4th time that you breathe deep through your nose, hold it for a second, out through your mouth, you'll feel it's come back. But sometimes it takes like 3 or 4 times. Like after the first one, oh my God, I still don't have a breath. And you got to do it again. Oh my God, I still don't have a breath. And you got to do it again. It's like, okay, it's a little bit better. Then you got to do it again. So I try to tell people 4 to 5 times. Make sure you get it. And it's really deep through your nose. So a lot of people will breathe through their mouth for some reason.
Shallow breath.
Or do a shallow breath.
Yeah,
but
terrible.
But what I'm talking about is like pretend that you have that rose. And that's, you always want to smell a rose. You always want to take in the odor and the aroma of the rose. So if you put your nose, pretend you have a rose, and breathe in through your nose and then hold that and then let it out and do that 5 times, you'll be able to get your breath, and you'll be able to do it faster. Because the whole point of sprints or some of these other things is also that recovery. You want to be able to recover faster, because in a fight, if you get rocked, that's why guys with awesome cardio, the one that stands out the most is Frankie Edgar, 100%, man. Like Frankie's known probably the best cardio in the UFC. You know, there's a few close, but I'm going to give Frankie the best cardio
for
in the
getting
UFC.
rocked and coming back.
How many times he got
a gajillion times
against Gray Maynard, but then even the second fight, the same fucking thing happened, or the third fight, it happened again, and he was able to recover. He's very good at recovering, taking unfortunately took a beating, but he came back and won. Draw second time, whatever it was. But bottom line is, I can tell, like when I'm watching fights and a guy gets rocked and he recovers, you could tell it's like that guy's cardio is good. He's got good cardio because he was able to recover. And then the other ones who get rocked and the fucking like, what the fuck happened to that guy? Cardio conditioning just wasn't there. I mean, obviously depending on where he gets hit, not everything else, but it's about recovery. All of the cardio portions, not just about being able to have that gas tank, but it's about being able to recover faster and getting back into the game.
Not just the output, but the input.
Right.
Being air, oxygen back into your body.
Totally, man.
I think
good stuff.
That's how you improve your cardio.
Yeah, man. There you go, guys. Like, so start taking it into, if I leave you with one, it's the burpee finishers. That's what I'm going to leave you with. 4-minute burpee finishers. Start implementing it 4 days a week. Get your whole team involved. Start doing it with your team. Get it like, okay, guys, if you're a coach or a trainer, listen to this, and you are a coach, a team, or a trainer of a actual, like you train a class, then add the burpee finisher at the end of the class, man, and mix it up. One day do regular burpees, another day do, okay, we're going to do burpee with the burpee raise. We're going to do jumping side to side burpees, whatever. Add that as the finisher of the workout program of your session. And then obviously if you're a coach for fighters, definitely add that, as that finish. Okay, guys, we're going to finish off with our burpee. It's mental too, man. It's that mental toughness. You're going to see guys who break. And that those guys who break during the burpee fucking 4 minutes are going to be the same fuckers who break out there when they're not feeling uncomfortable. You've got to get them in that uncomfortable position. And those, you get very uncomfortable, man. You get very, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Growth,
baby. Growth happens outside the box.
That was a good one.
Nice. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Please make sure you download the FunkMMA podcast app, download the Funk Roberts Fitness app, go to Funk Roberts Fitness University, get in the membership site.
Check out the YouTube channel.
Funk Roberts. Check out FunkMMA. Check out Revamp Nutrition Labs on Facebook and Instagram.
Check out Nutrition for Fighters.
What about you?
Fighters.
Where can they get to you, man?
Never. No, just kidding. What's with Andy1 on Instagram? You can find me there.
Where else? On Facebook? How do they find you? Or do you want people on Facebook?
Instagram's better.
Really, eh? No Facebook?
No love for Facebook.
What the fuck?
Facebook is for like moms and cousins.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I went there, Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's with Andy1 on Instagram?
What a loser. You're such a loser. Funk Roberts Fitness on Facebook, FunkMMA on Facebook. Hey, have we fucking reached 600K on Facebook?
Yeah, we did.
What are we at right now?
610 or something.
Guys, 610K on Facebook, FunkMMA.
It's fucking huge.
Get on that goddamn page if you're not on that page. And as always, guys, train hard, fight easy, eat clean, be positive. Stay outside that comfort zone and do not settle with mediocrity. You are on this planet to be the best you can, not just in the gym, but outside the gym with your friends, with your family, at work, at school. There is no time to sit around and be mediocre. Like, live life, improve, be 1% better than you were yesterday. Always strive to be better. Always be good to people. Yeah, man.
Mic drop.
We're done.
Peace.
See you.
You've been listening to the Funk MMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, hosted by Funk Roberts, certified MMA conditioning coach, master of metabolic training, and fitness expert, bringing you insights on conditioning for all levels of fighters worldwide. Be sure to join us for another podcast.